Welcome to our channel. If you enjoy the content, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing. Now, let's dive into today's story. In the soft embrace of twilight, when the sun's fiery orb dips below the horizon to rest behind the hills, the ancient Roman baths stood silent and majestic, a testament to time's unwavering march. Erected in the heart of a once flourishing city, their columns rose like stoic sentinels, watching over the stories whispered by the winds that danced through their arches. The air was thick with the scent of history, of centuries-old stone warmed by the day's sun, mingling with the faint, earthy aroma of the surrounding pine forests. As dusk settled in, casting its dusky hues across the sky, the baths, bathed in a muted palette of gold and shadow, hummed with an energy both serene and mysterious. The trickle of water, a gentle susurration from the ancient aqueducts, provided a soothing melody, as if the very stones sighed in relief after the heat of the day. This place, once vibrant with the laughter and chatter of Roman citizens, now lay in the quiet embrace of solitude, save for the occasional rustle of leaves or the call of a distant night bird. But tonight, there was another presence, unseen yet palpable, that lingered in the cool evening air. It was as if the spirits of those who had once reveled in the steamy embrace of the caldarium, or found solace in the frigidarium's icy waters, had returned. Their essence clung to the air like an unspoken promise, or perhaps a warning etched into the very fabric of the place. The baths, with their grandiosity and intricate mosaics, were more than mere relics of an ancient civilization. They were a tapestry woven with threads of mystery and myth. Legends abounded of secret gatherings and whispered conspiracies, of emperors who plotted beneath the veil of steam, and of lovers whose clandestine meetings were immortalized in the silent stones. Tonight, as the first stars pierced the indigo canopy overhead, a lone figure approached the baths. Cloaked in a long, flowing robe, the figure moved with a deliberate grace, each step echoing softly against the cobblestones. It was Aurelia, a young historian with an insatiable curiosity and a heart that beat to the rhythm of ages past. Her eyes, keen and bright, held a depth that belied her years, and her mind was a repository of stories both told and untold. Aurelia had come to the baths not merely to study their architecture or to admire their beauty, but to uncover the truth that lay hidden beneath their storied facade. She was driven by a dream, a recurring vision that haunted her nights with its vivid clarity. In her dreams, she walked these very halls, her fingers trailing along the cool, damp stones, drawn inexorably toward a secret she could not yet comprehend. The entrance to the baths loomed before her, its grand archway welcoming yet imposing. She paused for a moment, inhaling deeply, allowing the cool night air to fill her lungs, grounding her before she stepped into the shadows of antiquity. As she crossed the threshold, the world outside seemed to fade away, leaving only the echo of her footsteps and the gentle murmur of water to fill the void. Inside, the baths were a labyrinthine wonder, their chambers sprawling in a maze of stone and artistry. Mosaics adorned the floors, depicting scenes of gods and heroes locked in eternal dance, their eyes watching as Aurelia passed by. The walls, etched with intricate patterns, seemed to pulse with a life of their own, as if the very essence of the place was woven into their design. Aurelia moved through the tepidarium first, its warm air wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. The room was dimly lit by the waning light of the setting sun, which filtered through the high windows, casting elongated shadows that stretched and danced across the floor. It was a place of transition, a space between the extremes of heat and cold, where the soul could find balance before venturing into the more intense chambers beyond. As she continued her exploration, she found herself drawn to the caldarium, the heart of the baths, where the air was thick with steam and the walls glistened with moisture. Here, the heat was palpable, a tangible force that pressed against her skin, drawing beads of sweat from her brow. She closed her eyes for a moment, allowing the warmth to seep into her bones, imagining the throngs of people who had once gathered here, their voices rising in a cacophony of conversation and laughter. Yet, beneath the surface of this imagined revelry, there was an undercurrent of something darker, a tension that thrummed like a low, persistent note. Aurelia could feel it, a vibration that resonated in her chest, urging her to delve deeper, to seek out the heart of the mystery that lay entwined with the very stones beneath her feet. Her journey led her to the frigidarium, where the air was sharp and crisp, a stark contrast to the sultry embrace of the caldarium. The cold bit at her skin, invigorating and bracing, as the moonlight spilled through the high windows, bathing the room in an ethereal glow. Here, the silence was profound, a deep, resonant stillness that seemed to amplify the beating of her heart. It was here, in this hushed sanctuary, that Aurelia paused, sensing the weight of the ages pressing down upon her. She could almost hear the whispers of those who had come before, their secrets carried on the breath of the wind that swirled through the chamber. It was as if the walls themselves held the memory of every soul that had ever passed through these halls, their stories etched into the very fabric of the stone. With a resolve born of both fear and fascination, Aurelia pressed onward, her senses attuned to the subtle cues that guided her deeper into the labyrinth. She moved with purpose, her fingers brushing against the cool, damp walls, tracing the path that her dreams had foretold. And then she found it, a narrow passageway, hidden in the shadows, its entrance partially obscured by a tapestry that had long since faded with time. The passage beckoned to her, its darkness a siren call that promised both revelation and peril. She hesitated only for a moment, her breath catching in her throat, before she stepped forward, her heart a steady drumbeat in the silence. The corridor was narrow, its walls closing in around her as she moved forward, the air cool and still, laden with the scent of ancient earth. As she ventured deeper, the passage began to slope downward, leading her into the very bowels of the baths, where the air grew thick with moisture and the sound of water, unseen yet omnipresent, filled her ears. It was a descent into the unknown, a journey that felt both exhilarating and terrifying, as if she were traversing the threshold between the mundane and the mystical. And then, as if emerging from a long and winding dream, she found herself in a hidden chamber, its existence known only to those who had dared to seek it out. The room was vast and cavernous, its ceiling lost in shadow, while the walls were adorned with frescoes that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. In the center, a pool of water lay still and dark, its surface reflecting the faint light that filtered down from above. Aurelia stood at the edge of the pool, her reflection shimmering beneath the surface, distorted and otherworldly. She felt a sense of awe, of reverence, as if she had stumbled upon a sacred site, a place where the past and present converged in a dance of light and shadow. Yet, even as she marveled at the beauty of the chamber, she could not shake the feeling that she was not alone, that the shadows held secrets yet to be revealed. The air was thick with anticipation, a charged silence that thrummed with the promise of discovery. In that moment, as she gazed into the depths of the pool, Aurelia knew that she stood on the precipice of a revelation, a truth woven into the very stones of the baths, waiting to be unveiled. And though the path before her was shrouded in mystery, she felt a deep, abiding certainty that she was exactly where she was meant to be, poised to uncover the ancient secrets that lay hidden in the heart of the Roman baths. The air was cool and fragrant, redolent with the scent of ancient stones and a faint trace of herbs, lavender perhaps, or rosemary, ghosts of a time when these baths were teeming with life. Aurelia's heart beat in time with the gentle lapping of the water against the marble edge, each ripple a whisper from the past. Her senses were heightened, attuned to every creak and sigh of the ancient structure, as if the very walls were breathing, alive with memories untold. The room was illuminated by the soft glow of torches, their flames flickering like fireflies in the dim cavernous space. Shadows danced along the walls, their forms twisting and contorting, suggesting figures from another time, silhouettes of bathers long gone. They seemed to beckon her forward, urging her to step beyond the veil of the mundane and into the realm of the extraordinary. Aurelia took a tentative step closer to the pool, her footsteps echoing softly against the mosaic floor. The patterns beneath her feet told stories of their own, scenes of myth and legend, gods and mortals entwined in a tapestry of color and form. She traced a finger along the edge of a mosaic, feeling the cool, smooth tesserae beneath her touch, a tactile connection to the artisans who had crafted this masterpiece centuries ago. As she moved, her eyes were drawn to a particular section of the wall, where the tiles formed an intricate depiction of Neptune, the god of the sea, brandishing his trident with regal authority. His eyes seemed to follow her, both stern and benevolent, a guardian of the mysteries that lay below. Beneath his watchful gaze, Aurelia felt a surge of courage, an assurance that she was on the right path. The silence was profound, a serene counterpoint to the tumult of thoughts swirling in her mind. Yet, beneath that tranquility lay a tension, an undercurrent of energy that thrummed through the air. It was a paradox, this place, a haven of peace and a crucible of secrets, a sanctuary where the past lingered in every corner, waiting to be unearthed. Driven by an irresistible pull, Aurelia approached the edge of the pool, kneeling beside it to peer into its depths. The water was clear, almost impossibly so, revealing the delicate patterns on the bottom, a mosaic of blues and greens that shimmered like the scales of a mythical creature. And there, just beyond reach, something glinted, a small, golden object nestled among the stones. Her heart quickened, a fluttering bird trapped within her chest, its wings beating a rhythm of excitement and trepidation. She hesitated for a moment, the enormity of the discovery pressing down on her. But then, with a deep breath, she reached into the water, her fingers slicing through the surface, sending ripples spreading outward in concentric circles. The water was cool against her skin, an invigorating contrast to the warmth of the room. As her hand closed around the object, she felt a jolt of recognition, as if a hidden part of her had been waiting for this moment. Slowly, she drew it from the depths, the golden gleam catching the torchlight, casting reflections that danced across the walls. It was a pendant, intricately wrought, the gold polished to a lustrous sheen. At its center, a single gemstone, a deep, vibrant amethyst, glowed with an inner fire. The design was unmistakably Roman, a delicate filigree of leaves and vines encircling the gem, a testament to the craftsmanship of a bygone era. Aurelia held the pendant in her palm, its weight comforting and familiar, as if it belonged to her, or perhaps she to it. She could feel the echoes of its history, the lives it had touched, the hands that had cherished it. It was a key, she realized, a talisman that could unlock the secrets of the baths, if only she could decipher its meaning. As she turned the pendant over in her hand, she noticed an inscription etched into the back, the letters worn but still legible. The words were Latin, a language that sang in her blood, a tongue she had learned from childhood, steeped in the lore of her ancestors. Veritas in aquam, she read aloud, the words resonating in the silent chamber. Truth in the water. The phrase was both a revelation and a riddle, a clue that hinted at answers submerged beneath the surface. Aurelia felt a thrill of anticipation, a sense of purpose igniting within her. The pendant was more than a relic, it was a guide, a beacon leading her deeper into the mystery. With renewed determination, she rose to her feet, clutching the pendant tightly. The shadows seemed to shift around her, as if acknowledging her resolve, urging her onward into the unknown. She cast one last glance at Neptune, his gaze steady and reassuring, before turning to follow the path that stretched before her. The air grew warmer as she ventured deeper into the baths, the corridors winding like the labyrinthine passages of a dream. She passed through chambers that whispered of past opulence, a frigidarium with its frosty allure, a tepidarium that exuded a gentle warmth, each room a testament to the Romans' mastery of architecture and engineering. But it was the caldarium that drew her in, the promise of answers shimmering like a mirage in the steam-filled air. The heat was intense, enveloping her like a lover's embrace, the moisture clinging to her skin in pearlescent droplets. The room was vast, its ceiling soaring high above, supported by columns carved with scenes of aquatic life. In the center of the caldarium stood another pool, larger and deeper than the first, its waters swirling with the heat of the earth. The steam rose in ethereal tendrils, obscuring the far corners of the chamber, creating an atmosphere of mystery and magic. Aurelia approached the edge of the pool, her heart beating in rhythm with the pulse of the earth beneath her feet. She could feel the pendant growing warm in her hand, as if responding to the energy of the room, a connection forged across the centuries. As she stood there, poised on the brink of discovery, the steam parted like a curtain, revealing a figure standing on the opposite side of the pool. Aurelia felt her breath catch in her throat, a thrill of recognition sparking within her. The figure was shrouded in mist, their features obscured but unmistakably human. They raised a hand in greeting, a gesture of welcome and invitation. Aurelia felt an inexplicable sense of kinship, as if this stranger were a part of her own story, a thread woven into the tapestry of her life. With a courage that surprised even herself, she stepped forward, moving around the pool, her footsteps silent on the damp stone. The figure remained motionless, waiting, their presence a beacon in the haze. As she drew closer, the details began to emerge. The silhouette of a man, his features noble and timeless, eyes that glimmered with wisdom and compassion. He wore the robes of a Roman senator, the fabric rich and flowing, a testament to his status and authority. "Welcome, Aurelia," he said, his voice resonant and warm, echoing in the steamy air. "I have been waiting for you." His words were a balm, soothing the tension that had coiled within her, a confirmation that this moment, this encounter, was destined. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice steady despite the tumult of emotions raging within her. "I am a guardian of these baths," he replied, a smile playing at the corners of his lips. "A custodian of their secrets, entrusted with their truths." Aurelia felt a surge of understanding, the pieces of the puzzle falling into place. The pendant, the inscription, the sense of familiarity, all were part of a larger design, a destiny that had led her to this moment. "What do I need to know?" she asked, her voice a whisper of curiosity and resolve. The guardian gestured to the pool, the water shimmering with an otherworldly light. "The truth lies beneath the surface," he said, his gaze steady and kind. "It is time for you to see." With those words, Aurelia felt the fear and uncertainty melt away, replaced by a sense of purpose and clarity. She knew what she had to do, the path laid out before her as clear and bright as the day. She took a deep breath, the air rich with the scent of steam and stone, and stepped into the pool. The water embraced her, warm and welcoming, as she descended into its depths, the pendant glowing like a star in her hand. As she submerged, the world shifted, the boundaries of time and space dissolving around her. She felt the presence of the guardian beside her, a steadying force, guiding her through the currents of memory and history. Beneath the surface, the water was alive with visions, a kaleidoscope of images and emotions, a tapestry woven from the threads of the past. She saw the baths in their prime, vibrant and bustling, the laughter of bathers mingling with the songs of the water. And then, deeper still, she glimpsed the heart of the baths, a place where the elements converged, a nexus of power and mystery. It was there that the truth resided, a truth that transcended time and space, waiting to be discovered. As she reached out, the pendant in her grasp, Aurelia felt a surge of energy, a connection that transcended the physical, a communion with the essence of the baths themselves. In that moment, she understood. The baths were more than a relic of the past. They were a living entity, a guardian of history and knowledge, a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of those who had come before. And as the visions swirled around her, Aurelia knew that she was part of that legacy, a keeper of its secrets, entrusted with its truths. With a sense of peace and fulfillment, she rose to the surface, the water parting around her like a veil, the pendant a beacon of light in her hand. The guardian was waiting for her, his smile a reflection of her own, a shared understanding of the journey they had undertaken together. "The truth is yours now," he said, his voice filled with warmth and pride. "Guard it well, and let it guide you." Aurelia nodded, her heart full and light, the weight of the past a comforting presence at her side. She knew that her journey was just beginning, a journey that would take her beyond the baths and into the world, armed with the knowledge and wisdom she had gained. And as she stepped from the pool, The pendant glowing softly in her hand, she felt a sense of belonging, a connection to the past and the future, a testament to the enduring power of the ancient Roman baths and the secrets they held within their depths. As Aurelia emerged from the water, the air felt different, imbued with a rich tapestry of scents and sounds that seemed to envelop her like a warm embrace. The subtle aroma of aged stone mingled with the lingering essence of herbs, their fragrant whispers carried on a gentle breeze that danced through the ancient columns. She paused for a moment, allowing the sensations to seep into her being, to become a part of her, as if the very essence of the place was imprinting itself on her soul. The guardian watched her with an understanding gaze, his presence a steady anchor amidst the swirling currents of time and memory. His eyes glimmered with a knowing light, reflecting the depths of history and the countless stories that had unfolded within these hallowed halls. Aurelia felt a profound kinship with him, a bond forged in the crucible of shared discovery and mutual respect. As she took a step forward, the smooth stones beneath her feet seemed to hum with energy, each footfall resonating with the echoes of countless generations that had walked this path before her. The walls whispered soft secrets, their ancient tales woven into the very fabric of the universe. Aurelia felt as though she was walking through a living tapestry, each thread a story, each knot a mystery waiting to be unraveled. The path led her through a series of chambers, each more captivating than the last. The first room was bathed in a soft, ethereal light that filtered through high windows, casting delicate patterns upon the floor. It was a place of reflection, where the ancients had come to meditate and find solace in the gentle embrace of the waters. Aurelia could almost hear their murmured prayers, feel their hopes and dreams lingering in the air like a soft caress. In the next chamber, vivid mosaics adorned the walls, their vibrant colors telling tales of gods and heroes, of love and betrayal, of triumph and tragedy. Each image was a gateway to another world, a glimpse into the lives of those long gone but never forgotten. Aurelia's fingers brushed lightly over the cool tiles, tracing the intricate patterns with reverence and awe. As she continued her journey, the faint sound of flowing water grew stronger, a melodic symphony that guided her deeper into the heart of the baths. The air was thick with moisture, a gentle mist that clung to her skin and hair, a reminder of the life-giving properties of the springs that had sustained this place for centuries. The water's song was both a lullaby and a call to adventure, a reminder of the dual nature of the baths and their secrets. Finally, she reached the innermost chamber, a place shrouded in shadow and mystery. The walls were lined with ancient inscriptions, their meanings obscured by time and the elements. Yet, as Aurelia's eyes adjusted to the dim light, she felt a strange familiarity with the symbols, as if they were speaking directly to her, their messages resonating in her heart and mind. The guardian appeared beside her, his presence a reassuring constant in this world of enigma and wonder. "This is the heart of the baths," he said softly, his voice barely more than a whisper. "Here lies the true essence of what it means to be a part of this legacy." Aurelia nodded, her fingers instinctively tightening around the pendant in her hand. It pulsed with a gentle warmth, a reminder of the journey that had brought her here, and the path that lay ahead. She understood now that the baths were more than just a physical space. They were a living entity, a repository of knowledge and wisdom that transcended the boundaries of time and space. As she stood in the chamber, a sense of purpose filled her, a certainty that her role as a keeper of secrets was only just beginning. She felt the weight of history pressing down on her, not as a burden, but as a mantle of responsibility and honor. The pendant in her hand was a key, a symbol of her connection to the past and her commitment to the future. The guardian spoke again, his voice filled with a quiet strength. "The secrets of the baths are yours to protect, but they are also yours to share. Use them wisely, and let them guide you in your journey." Aurelia nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude and determination. She knew that the baths held many more mysteries, treasures waiting to be discovered, stories waiting to be told. And she was ready to explore them, to delve deeper into the heart of this ancient world and uncover the truths hidden within its depths. With a final glance at the guardian, Aurelia turned and made her way back through the labyrinth of chambers, each step a testament to her newfound purpose. The path ahead was uncertain, but she was undaunted, her spirit buoyed by the knowledge that she was not alone. The legacy of the Baths was a living thing, a force that would guide and protect her as she embarked on her quest. As she stepped into the sunlight once more, the world seemed to shimmer with possibility. The sky was a brilliant azure, the air alive with the songs of birds and the rustling of leaves. Aurelia breathed deeply, savoring the moment, feeling the pulse of life around her and the promise of adventure that lay ahead. With the pendant tucked safely against her heart, she set out into the world, her mind alive with the secrets of the Baths and the endless possibilities they held. The journey was just beginning, and she was ready to embrace it, to follow the path wherever it might lead, and to uncover the mysteries of the past and the future. And as she walked away, the ancient Roman Baths stood silent and watchful, their secrets safe in the hands of a new guardian, their legacy alive in the heart of one who would honor and protect them, now and always. As Aurelia left the embrace of the ancient Roman Baths, the whispers of the past lingered in the gentle breeze that tousled her hair. Each step she took felt both heavy with the weight of history and light with the thrill of discovery, as if she were walking a tightrope stretched between the ages. The cobblestone path beneath her feet was warm from the sun, and the air was thick with the fragrance of wild thyme and lavender, which clung to the edges of the path like a natural tapestry woven by time itself. The world around her was a symphony of sights and sounds. The rhythmic chirping of cicadas echoed like a chorus, harmonizing with the distant laughter of children playing in the fields. In the distance, the hills rolled gently like the backs of ancient creatures sleeping under the sky's watchful eye. Aurelia felt the hum of life in every direction and marveled at how the past and present seemed to coexist so seamlessly. Her heart was buoyed by the knowledge that she was not merely an observer of the Baths' secrets but now a custodian of their stories. The pendant around her neck felt warm, as if it pulsed with its own heartbeat, a reminder of the connection she had forged with the spirits of the past. It was more than just a relic, it was a beacon, guiding her as she navigated the labyrinth of history and destiny. As Aurelia journeyed further from the Baths, she found herself drawn to a small village nestled at the foot of the hills. The village seemed to breathe with its own quiet rhythm, its whitewashed buildings standing like sentinels under the sun. The scent of freshly baked bread wafted through the air, mingling with the earthy aroma of olives and the sweet tang of ripe figs. The simple pleasures of village life were a balm, soothing her soul as she prepared for what lay ahead. The villagers welcomed her with open arms, their faces etched with the lines of stories untold. They spoke of the Baths in hushed tones, reverent and curious, as if discussing a beloved ancestor who had left a profound legacy. Aurelia listened intently, eager to learn from their tales and to share her own discoveries. Each story was a thread in the tapestry, weaving together the past and present in an intricate dance that defied the passage of time. As she settled into the rhythm of village life, Aurelia began to sense that the Baths' secrets were not only hidden in the stones and shadows but also whispered in the hearts of those who lived nearby. The villagers spoke of strange occurrences, of lights flickering in the night and echoes that seemed to carry voices from long ago. Some claimed to have seen figures gliding through the mist, their forms illuminated by the moon's silver glow. Others spoke of dreams that felt too real, as if the past were reaching out to touch them. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in hues of gold and crimson, Aurelia found herself drawn to an old woman who sat weaving at her loom. Her hands moved deftly, the shuttle darting back and forth like a bird in flight, and her eyes held a wisdom that seemed to transcend time. The woman beckoned Aurelia closer, her voice as soft as the rustle of leaves, and spoke of a time when the Baths were a place of healing and transformation, where water and stone worked their magic on body and soul alike. The woman's stories were like a river, flowing with tales of emperors and priests, of lovers and warriors, all of whom had left their mark on the Baths. She spoke of rituals held under the stars, of secret passages hidden within the walls, and of a guardian spirit who watched over the waters, ensuring that their power was never misused. Aurelia listened, enraptured, her heart swelling with the knowledge that she was part of something much greater than herself. As the night deepened and the stars emerged one by one, Aurelia felt a stirring within her. The pendant around her neck seemed to glow with an inner light, guiding her thoughts and dreams. She knew that the path ahead would not be easy, that the secrets she sought to uncover might be shrouded in danger and uncertainty. But she was not afraid. The legacy of the Baths was a living force within her, a beacon of hope and purpose that would light her way. With each passing day, Aurelia grew more attuned to the whispers of the past. She spent hours exploring the countryside, following the ancient roads and pathways that crisscrossed the land like veins. She discovered hidden groves where the air was thick with the scent of myrtle and rosemary, and where the earth seemed to pulse with an energy that was both ancient and eternal. In these places, she felt the presence of those who had come before, their spirits lingering like shadows in the twilight. The villagers watched her with a mixture of awe and curiosity, sensing that she was on a journey that transcended the ordinary. They shared their stories and their fears, their hopes and their dreams, and in doing so, they became part of her quest. Together, they formed a tapestry of lives woven together by the threads of history, each contributing to the legacy of the Baths in their own unique way. As the weeks passed, Aurelia felt the pull of the Baths growing stronger, as if they were calling her back to their embrace. She knew that her journey was not yet complete, that there were secrets still to be uncovered, mysteries waiting to be revealed. The pendant around her neck was a constant reminder of her purpose, a symbol of the trust that had been placed in her. And so, on a cool autumn morning, as the leaves turned to gold and the air was crisp with the promise of change, Aurelia set out once more for the Baths. The path was familiar now, each step resonating with the echoes of the past. The sun cast long shadows on the ground, and the sky was a canvas of blue, streaked with the soft brushstrokes of clouds. As she approached the Baths, she felt a sense of anticipation, a tingling in her fingertips and a quickening of her heart. The air was alive with possibility, the whispers of the past mingling with the rustling of leaves and the distant call of a nightingale. She paused at the entrance, the stone archway standing like a sentinel, marking the boundary between two worlds. Aurelia took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the pendant against her chest. The legacy of the Baths was her guide, a living force that would protect and guide her as she delved deeper into their mysteries. She stepped forward, crossing the threshold with a heart full of hope and a spirit ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. And as she entered the Baths once more, the ancient stones seemed to sigh in welcome, their secrets safe in the hands of a new guardian, their legacy alive in the heart of one who would honor and protect them, now and always. The air inside the Baths was cool, a gentle caress against Aurelia's skin, like the whisper of an old friend sharing a long-forgotten secret. The stones underfoot echoed with her steps, a soft, rhythmic cadence that matched the murmuring of water in the basins and the distant, melodic trickle from hidden fountains. Shadows danced along the walls, cast by the flickering torchlight that illuminated the vast expanse of the Thermae, creating a play of light and darkness that seemed almost alive. Aurelia paused, allowing her eyes to adjust to the dim, amber glow. The Baths were a labyrinth of arches and alcoves, each corner holding the promise of discovery. The scent of aged stone mingled with the faint, lingering aroma of lavender and chamomile, remnants of the herbs once used to perfume the waters. It was a fragrance that spoke of relaxation and timelessness, yet something else lingered beneath, a subtle note of mystery that tickled the edge of her senses. As she moved deeper into the Baths, the sound of water became more pronounced, a gentle symphony that resonated through the halls. Aurelia followed the sound, her footsteps leading her to a large, central chamber where a grand pool lay, its surface shimmering like liquid silver in the dim light. The water was perfectly still, its depths concealing untold stories, its clarity a mirror reflecting the vaulted ceiling above, adorned with fading mosaics of forgotten gods and celestial myths. She approached the edge, her reflection wavering as her presence disturbed the tranquil surface. Kneeling, She dipped her fingers into the cool water, feeling a shiver of energy race up her arm as if the pool itself acknowledged her touch. There was an intimacy in that moment, a connection to those who had come before her, who had bathed and whispered and dreamed within these walls. Aurelia's gaze drifted to the mosaics above, their vibrant colors muted by time yet still captivating. Scenes of merriment and divine indulgence unfolded in tessellated stories, each tile a piece of history, a fragment of the lives that had once brought this place to life. She imagined the laughter and conversations that must have echoed here, the vitality that had pulsed through the baths like a heartbeat, now reduced to echoes and memories. Yet, as Aurelia lingered, she sensed something more within the silence, a presence that seemed to weave through the air like a gentle current. It was an awareness, an essence that had watched over the baths for centuries, a guardian spirit born of ancient rituals and whispered invocations. She closed her eyes, letting her senses expand, her breath steady, and even as she reached out with her mind, seeking to understand this unseen force. In that stillness, she heard it, a soft, melodic voice, barely more than a breath, yet filled with a wisdom that transcended time. The voice spoke not in words, but in feelings, in images that unfolded like the pages of a forgotten manuscript. Aurelia saw glimpses of the past, of priests and priestesses tending sacred fires, of rituals performed under the watchful eyes of marble deities, of offerings cast into the waters to appease the spirits and ensure the harmony of the land. The vision shifted, and she saw the baths as they had once been, a vibrant hub of life and energy. She watched as patricians and plebeians alike gathered to cleanse and converse, as merchants exchanged tales and secrets, as lovers stole moments of intimacy beneath the gaze of stone guardians. The baths were a tapestry of humanity, a place where the boundaries of class and creed dissolved, leaving only the shared essence of being. Yet, beneath the surface of these memories lay another layer, a shadowed thread that wove through the tapestry, subtle yet undeniable. It was a sense of unease, of something hidden and unspoken, a secret that had lingered in the depths of the baths, cloaked in the veneer of tradition and reverence. Aurelia felt the weight of it, a cold whisper that brushed against her consciousness like a chill wind. She opened her eyes, the vision fading like mist, leaving her with a lingering sense of curiosity and resolve. There were answers here, buried beneath centuries of history and myth, waiting to be uncovered by those with the courage to seek them. Aurelia knew she had to delve deeper, to unravel the enigma that lay at the heart of the baths, and in doing so, understand her own place within this ancient story. Rising, she moved away from the pool, her steps guided by an instinct that led her towards a narrow corridor, its entrance partially obscured by an ornate tapestry depicting Neptune in his chariot. The air grew cooler as she entered, the walls closing around her in a comforting embrace. The corridor twisted and turned, a serpentine path that seemed to lead her away from the world above and into the very essence of the baths. The silence here was profound, a weighty stillness that pressed against her ears, amplifying the sound of her heartbeat, the whisper of her breath. The walls bore inscriptions, faded and worn, their meaning lost to all but the most dedicated scholars. Aurelia traced them with her fingertips as she passed, feeling the grooves and indentations, the language of a people who had long since vanished into the annals of time. Eventually, the corridor opened into a small chamber, its ceiling low and arched, its walls lined with shelves carved into the stone. Here, the air was heavier, infused with the scent of earth and age. Aurelia's gaze was drawn to the center, to a pedestal upon which rested a stone basin, its surface etched with intricate patterns that seemed to pulse with an inner light. She approached, feeling the pull of the basin, the way it seemed to call to her, to invite her to look closer, to see what lay within. As she peered into the depths, she saw not water, but a swirling mist, a fog that twisted and turned, forming shapes and figures that danced before her eyes. It was a vision both beautiful and haunting, a glimpse into the heart of the baths, a window into the past and perhaps the future. In that moment, Aurelia understood the true nature of the baths, the reason for their enduring allure and mystery. They were a nexus, a place where the boundaries between worlds thinned, where the past and present, the mortal and the divine, touched and mingled. The secrets they held were not just those of the ancients, but of the earth itself, of the currents of magic and memory that flowed beneath the surface of reality. Aurelia reached out, her hand hovering above the basin, feeling the energy that radiated from it, a warm, comforting presence that seemed to envelop her in a gentle embrace. She knew that the path she had chosen was not without its dangers, that the answers she sought might lead her into shadows and uncertainty. But she also knew that she was not alone, that the spirit of the baths was with her, a silent guardian in her quest for truth. With a sense of calm determination, she withdrew her hand, stepping back from the basin and its swirling visions. There was much to learn, much to explore, and Aurelia felt a sense of purpose, a calling that resonated deep within her soul. The baths were her legacy, her inheritance, and she would honor them, protect them, and uncover their secrets, no matter where the journey might lead. The air around Aurelia vibrated with an ancient hum, a resonance of voices and lives that had once thrived within these hallowed walls. The sun, now a dwindling ember on the horizon, cast long shadows that stretched like fingers across the worn mosaics, each tessera a memory, a story waiting to be told. The whispers of the past were carried on the evening breeze, rustling the leaves of the cypress trees that stood sentinel around the periphery, their dark silhouettes guarding the secrets buried beneath the layers of time. Aurelia felt the weight of history upon her shoulders, a mantle passed down through generations, linking her to a lineage of caretakers who had watched over this sacred place. Her ancestors had walked these same paths, had felt the same stones beneath their feet, and had listened to the same echoes of the past that now filled her ears. She was a part of something much larger than herself, an unbroken chain that stretched back through the centuries, binding her to the land and its mysteries. As she wandered through the dimly lit corridors, Aurelia's senses were heightened, attuned to the subtle shifts in the atmosphere, the faintest tremors of energy that coursed through the walls. The baths were alive, a living entity that pulsed with the lifeblood of the earth, its veins running deep beneath the surface. She could feel the heartbeat of the world, a steady rhythm that matched her own, a symphony of existence that played on in the timeless dance of creation. The corridors opened into a vast chamber, its domed ceiling arching high above, adorned with intricate frescoes that depicted scenes of myth and legend. The colors, though faded by the passage of years, still held a vibrancy that spoke of the skill and devotion of the artists who had crafted them. Figures of gods and goddesses moved across the walls, their eyes seeming to follow Aurelia as she crossed the room, their expressions enigmatic, their stories untold. In the center of the chamber lay the great pool, its waters still and dark, like a mirror reflecting the mysteries of the universe. Aurelia approached its edge, peering into the depths, her reflection a ghostly figure that gazed back at her with eyes full of questions. She felt a pull, an invitation to dive beneath the surface, to uncover the truths hidden in the depths, truths that had been waiting for her, calling to her through the ages. But she knew better than to rush headlong into the unknown. The secrets of the baths were not to be taken lightly, their power not to be underestimated. Caution was her ally, wisdom her guide, and she would heed the lessons of the past as she navigated the labyrinthine paths of discovery. A soft rustling caught her attention, drawing her gaze to the shadows that pooled in the corners of the room. There, in the flickering light of the torches, stood a figure cloaked in mystery, their presence both unexpected and strangely familiar. Aurelia's heart quickened, a thrill of anticipation mingling with a hint of apprehension. Who was this visitor, this guardian of secrets who had appeared at the threshold of revelation? The figure stepped forward, their movements fluid and graceful, as if they were a part of the very air that surrounded them. As they drew closer, the light revealed a face marked by time and experience, eyes that held the wisdom of ages, and a smile that spoke of kindness and understanding. Aurelia felt a jolt of recognition, a connection that transcended the boundaries of time, linking her to this enigmatic stranger. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper, as if afraid to break the spell that had woven itself around them. The figure inclined their head, a gesture of acknowledgement, their voice a soft murmur that seemed to echo from the depths of eternity. I am a keeper of the past, a guide for those who seek to understand the mysteries of this world. You have come far, Aurelia, but your journey is only just beginning. Aurelia felt a shiver run down her spine, a thrill of excitement mingled with a sense of awe. What is it that I seek? She asked, the question one that had lingered in her heart and spoken for so long. You seek knowledge, truth, and the power that comes from understanding the magic of the earth, the figure replied, their eyes meeting hers with a steady, unwavering gaze. The baths hold many secrets, but they will reveal themselves only to those who are worthy, to those who are willing to look beyond the surface and delve into the depths of what lies beneath. Aurelia nodded, her resolve firm, her purpose clear. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, ready to embrace the unknown and uncover the secrets that had eluded so many before her. The path would not be easy, the journey fraught with danger and uncertainty, but she would not be deterred. The spirit of the baths was with her, a guiding light in the darkness, a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in mystery. The figure extended a hand, an offer of support and companionship on the road ahead. Aurelia accepted it, feeling a surge of strength and confidence flow through her, a reminder that she was not alone, that she was part of something greater than herself. Together, they turned towards the pool, the waters shimmering with a light that seemed to come from within, a luminescence that spoke of hidden depths and untold wonders. Aurelia knew that she stood on the brink of discovery, poised at the threshold of a new understanding, a new beginning. The journey would be long, the path winding and uncertain, but she would forge ahead with courage and determination, guided by the spirit of the baths and the wisdom of those who had come before her. The secrets of the ancient Roman baths awaited her, their whispers growing louder, calling to her with a siren song that promised enlightenment and transformation. And Aurelia, with her heart full of hope and her soul ablaze with purpose, was ready to answer that call. As they approached the pool, the air around them felt charged, as if infused with the echoes of laughter, conversations, and the soft splashes of water from centuries past. The very walls seemed to breathe, exhaling stories of emperors and commoners, of whispered intrigues and clandestine meetings that had unfolded beneath the marbled gaze of forgotten gods. Aurelia could almost hear them, these ghosts of history, their voices mingling with the gentle lapping of the water, creating a symphony that resonated deep within her. Each step she took felt deliberate, almost ritualistic, as though she were retracing the paths of ancients whose footsteps had worn smooth the stones beneath her feet. The pool glowed with an iridescent light, casting shimmering reflections that danced across the domed ceiling, illuminating frescoes that depicted scenes of myth and legend. Nymphs frolicking in sylvan glades, Neptune commanding the seas, and Venus rising from the foam, her beauty eternal and untouched by time. Stepping closer, Aurelia felt a sudden chill, a whisper of cool air that seemed to rise from the very heart of the baths. It was the kind of chill that was not merely a sensation upon the skin, but one that seeped into the bones, awakening senses she had never known she possessed. The water's surface was a mirror, reflecting not just her image but the essence of the baths themselves, a portal to the past, a gateway to secrets long buried. Her companion, Lucius, watched her with a quiet intensity, his eyes reflecting the same luminescence of the pool. "Do you hear them?" he asked softly, his voice almost swallowed by the ambient murmurs that surrounded them. Aurelia nodded, feeling the pull of those voices, a magnetic force drawing her closer to the water's edge. "I hear them," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid that speaking too loudly might shatter the fragile spell that held them in its thrall. "What do they say?" Lucius paused, as if considering the question. "They speak of change," he finally said, "of cycles and renewal. These baths have seen empires rise and fall, have witnessed the ebb and flow of time. They hold within them the knowledge of ages, waiting for one who is worthy to listen." Aurelia knelt by the water, her fingers brushing the surface. The liquid felt alive, responding to her touch with ripples that radiated outward, distorting and reforming the reflections of frescoes and ceiling alike. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to be enveloped by the sounds and sensations around her. In that moment, she was transported. The air shimmered, and the baths transformed before her mind's eye. She saw them not as they were now, silent and deserted, but as they had been in their prime, filled with the bustle of life, the vibrant energy of 1,000 souls gathered in one sacred space. The scents of herbs and oils mingled with the warm steam, voices rising and falling in a dozen languages, laughter echoing off the marble walls. Aurelia saw herself, yet not herself, a figure draped in a flowing toga, moving with ease and confidence through the teeming masses. She felt the weight of a different life upon her shoulders, the pulse of another time beating in her veins. It was exhilarating and terrifying all at once, a reminder of the vastness of history and her own small place within it. Slowly, reluctantly, she opened her eyes, the vision fading like mist before the morning sun. She looked at Lucius, who watched her with understanding. "You saw," he said simply, and she nodded, unable to articulate the depth of what she had experienced. "They are beautiful," she said, her voice filled with awe. "They are," Lucius agreed. "But beauty is but a part of their truth. These waters have witnessed darkness as well as light, have been both sanctuary and prison." Aurelia sensed the truth in his words, feeling the weight of those contradictions settle upon her. She thought of the stories she had heard, of the emperor who had met his end in these very baths, of lovers who had whispered their last goodbyes within these walls, of the countless souls who had sought solace and found despair. The baths were a tapestry of human experience, woven with threads of joy and sorrow, hope and regret. "There is something they wish to show you," Lucius said, his voice drawing her back to the present. "Something hidden within the depths, a secret that has waited for you." With a sense of inevitability, Aurelia nodded, feeling the pull of the water, an invitation to dive deeper, to uncover the mysteries that lay beneath. She stood, untying the sash of her tunic, letting the fabric fall away as she stepped into the pool. The water embraced her, warm and gentle, wrapping around her like a lover's arms. As she submerged, the world above faded away, replaced by a silence that was not absence but fullness, a profound stillness that held within it the potential for revelation. The water was clear, crystalline, and the light that suffused it seemed to pulse with life, a heartbeat that matched her own. Deeper she went, the pressure increasing, the light dimming until she was enveloped in a twilight realm, a place where shadows danced and forms shifted. Her senses heightened, every detail vivid and sharp, the play of light on stone, the whisper of currents, the distant thrum of unseen forces. And then she saw it, nestled in the silt at the bottom of the pool, a small, ornate box, its surface etched with symbols that seemed to pulse with a light all their own. She reached for it, her fingers brushing the metal, feeling a jolt of recognition, a connection that transcended time and space. She surfaced slowly, the box held in her hand, her heart pounding with excitement and fear. Lucius was there, helping her from the water, his eyes wide with wonder as he beheld the object she had retrieved. Together, they examined it, tracing the intricate designs, the patterns that spoke of forgotten languages and lost knowledge. "What is it?" Aurelia asked, breathless with anticipation. "It is a key," Lucius replied, his voice filled with reverence. "A key to the past, to the secrets these baths have held for millennia. Within it lies the wisdom of those who have come before, a treasure trove of knowledge waiting to be unlocked." Aurelia's heart raced at the prospect, the enormity of what she held in her hands. She felt a surge of purpose, a determination to uncover the truths that lay within, to honor the legacy of those who had entrusted her with this task. The baths seemed to hum with approval, the air vibrating with unseen energy as if acknowledging the significance of the moment. Aurelia felt a sense of belonging, a certainty that she was exactly where she was meant to be, that her journey had led her to this point for a reason. With Lucius by her side, she knew she would find the courage to face whatever lay ahead, to embrace the challenges and triumphs that awaited her. Together, they would unlock the secrets of the past, unravel the mysteries that had eluded so many before them. The path would not be easy, But Aurelia was ready. She had been chosen, and she would not falter. As she gazed at the box, the whispers of the baths surrounded her, a chorus of voices urging her onward, guiding her steps as she prepared to embark on the next stage of her journey. The cool, damp air of the baths wrapped around Aurelia like a shroud. Each breath she took a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. The stone corridor stretched ahead, bathed in the flickering glow of torchlight, shadows dancing along the ancient walls. The weight of history pressed in on her, but rather than being oppressive, it felt like an embrace, a call to something greater than herself. Lucius walked beside her, his presence a steady anchor in the sea of uncertainties that swirled around them. His eyes were like twin storms, full of questions and unspoken promises. In the silence between them, there was a symphony of understanding, a tacit agreement that whatever they faced, they would face together. As they ventured deeper into the labyrinthine passages of the baths, Aurelia became acutely aware of the rich tapestry of scents that enveloped them. The air was heavy with the mineral tang of the thermal waters, a faint sulfuric note that spoke of the earth's hidden fires. Mingled with this was the lingering aroma of aromatic oils, remnants of the rituals once performed here, a fragrant memory of lives intertwined with these hallowed stones. The box in her hands seemed to pulse with its own life, a heartbeat of secrets waiting to be unveiled. It was intricately carved, the craftsmanship exquisite, a testament to the skill of those who had created it. Aurelia traced her fingers over the symbols etched into its surface, feeling a connection to the past that was both thrilling and daunting. "What do you think it holds?" Lucius's voice was a gentle murmur, a ripple across the surface of her thoughts. "I don't know," Aurelia replied, her voice a whisper, as if speaking too loudly might shatter the fragile magic of the moment. "But I feel it will change everything." They reached a chamber that seemed to pulse with an energy all its own, the air thick with history and the echoes of long-forgotten voices. The walls were adorned with faded mosaics, each tile a fragment of a story untold, a chronicle of the lives that had once animated this place. Aurelia set the box down on a stone bench, its surface cool and smooth beneath her fingers. She hesitated for a moment, a flutter of doubt in her chest. What if the secrets within were too much to bear? What if they unearthed truths that were better left buried? But the moment of hesitation passed, and with a deep breath, she opened the box. Inside, nestled amidst layers of delicate cloth, lay a collection of scrolls, their parchment yellowed with age, the ink faded but still legible. Lucius leaned closer, his breath a soft exhalation of awe. These could be records, maps, histories, or warnings, Aurelia added, her voice tinged with a thrill of apprehension. The scrolls seemed to hum with potential, a reservoir of knowledge that had been hidden away, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Carefully, Aurelia unrolled the first scroll, her eyes scanning the elegant script, the words dancing before her like fragments of a dream. As she read, the world around her seemed to dissolve, the present slipping away as she was drawn into the past, into the lives of those who had walked these halls before her. She saw visions of emperors and slaves, of healers and seekers, all connected by the waters of these sacred baths. The scroll spoke of rituals and rites, of ceremonies conducted under the watchful gaze of the gods. It spoke of a hidden chamber, a place of power and prophecy, where the veil between worlds was thinnest, and where the past and future intertwined. "This is incredible," Lucius breathed, his eyes alight with wonder. "Do you think it's real? This hidden chamber?" Aurelia nodded slowly, her mind racing with possibilities. "I think it is, and I think we have to find it." The idea was both exhilarating and terrifying. To seek out a place shrouded in mystery and legend, to step into the unknown with nothing but faith and determination to guide them. But Aurelia felt a pull towards this hidden chamber, a magnetism that was impossible to resist. As they continued reading, the air around them seemed to grow warmer, the torches flickering as if in response to their discovery. The whispers of the past grew louder, a chorus of encouragement and expectation, urging them ever forward. They spent hours in that chamber, poring over the scrolls, piecing together the clues hidden within their ancient text. Each revelation was like a piece of a puzzle falling into place, a glimpse into a tapestry of intrigue and enigma that had been woven long before their time. When finally they emerged from the depths of the baths, the sun had begun its descent, casting a golden hue over the world. The air was crisp with the promise of evening, the sky a canvas of oranges and purples. Aurelia felt a sense of renewal, a clarity that had eluded her before. The journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, she knew, but the path was laid out before them, a trail of breadcrumbs leading to a truth that had been waiting to be uncovered for centuries. As they walked back through the city, their footsteps echoing in the narrow streets, Aurelia felt a quiet confidence settle over her. She was no longer just a seeker of knowledge, she was a keeper of secrets, a guardian of the past and its mysteries. And with Lucius by her side, she knew they would succeed. Together, they would unravel the secrets of the ancient Roman baths, uncover the stories that had been hidden away, and bring them into the light of a new dawn. The night ahead was vast and full of promise, the stars winking down upon them like ancient witnesses to their quest. As they made their way home, Aurelia felt a sense of peace, a certainty that whatever lay ahead, they would face it with courage and resolve. The past was alive around them, a living entity that reached out to guide their steps, to whisper its truths into their ears. And as they prepared to rest, to gather their strength for the challenges to come, Aurelia knew that they were not alone. The spirits of the baths were with them, guiding them, protecting them, and leading them ever onward into the heart of the mystery. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a silvery glow over the ancient city of Rome, where shadows danced like phantoms upon the cobblestones. Aurelia and Lucius walked side by side, their footsteps echoing softly in the stillness of the night. The air was thick with the scent of history, a tapestry woven from the breath of centuries, whispering secrets that only those who listened closely could hear. As they approached the entrance of their humble abode, a small villa nestled at the edge of the city, Aurelia felt the presence of the past grow stronger, as if the very stones beneath her feet were alive with memories. Her mind was a whirl of thoughts, the puzzle of the baths unraveling slowly yet inexorably before her. Each piece of knowledge she had gathered seemed to fit together like the fragments of a mosaic, forming a picture that was both tantalizingly incomplete and achingly beautiful. Inside, the villa was cool and quiet, the only sound the gentle rustle of the wind through the garden outside. Aurelia lit a lamp, its warm glow banishing the shadows to the corners of the room. She and Lucius sat at a wooden table strewn with scrolls and maps, relics of their tireless research. The flickering light danced over their faces, illuminating the determination etched into their features. "We're close, Aurelia," Lucius murmured, his voice a soft rumble in the night. His eyes, bright with excitement, met hers. "I can feel it. The truth is within our grasp." Aurelia nodded, her heart quickening at his words. "Yes, but we must be careful. There are forces at work here that we do not yet fully understand. The baths hold power, Lucius. Power that has lain dormant for centuries." Lucius leaned back, his gaze contemplative as he regarded the scrolls before them. These baths, they were more than just places of cleansing and relaxation. They were centers of community, of healing, and perhaps even of ritual. Imagine the lives that passed through those waters, the stories they could tell. Aurelia smiled, her imagination kindled by his words. "I have often wondered about the people who built them, who visited them. Did they understand the significance of what they had created, or was it simply a part of their everyday lives?" Their conversation flowed like a gentle stream, each thought a ripple on the surface of their shared understanding. As they talked, the night deepened around them, the stars wheeling in their eternal dance across the heavens. The world outside was a tapestry of silence, woven with the soft sounds of the city slumbering beneath the moon's watchful eye. Eventually, their words dwindled into a comfortable silence, the kind that comes only from a deep and abiding trust. Aurelia leaned her head against the cool stone wall, her eyes drifting closed. The weight of the day settled over her like a cloak, and she welcomed the embrace of sleep. But sleep was not to come easily. As she hovered on the edge of dreams, the air around her seemed to shift, to quiver with a presence unseen yet deeply felt. She opened her eyes, her senses tingling with awareness. The shadows in the room seemed to deepen, to coalesce into shapes that flickered at the edge of perception. Lucius sat up, his gaze alert. "Do you feel that?" Aurelia nodded, her pulse quickening. "Yes, it's as if the past itself is reaching out to us." Together, they rose and moved toward the small window overlooking the garden. Outside, the night was a symphony of silver and shadow, the moonlight spilling over the ancient stones like a benediction. And there, amidst the rustling leaves and the whisper of the wind, they saw it. A figure, indistinct yet unmistakably human, stood at the edge of the garden. It was clothed in a flowing robe, its features obscured by the shadows. For a moment, it seemed to gaze at them, its presence both ethereal and compelling. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, it vanished, melting into the night like mist before the dawn. Aurelia's heart pounded in her chest, a mixture of fear and wonder coursing through her veins. "Did you see that?" Lucius nodded, his expression a mirror of her own. "A spirit, perhaps, or a messenger. It seems we are not alone in our quest." They returned to the table, their minds alight with possibilities. The encounter had left them both exhilarated and unsettled, a reminder of the mysteries that lingered just beyond the veil of the known. As they delved once more into their research, the hours slipped by, the night deepening into the quiet stillness of pre-dawn. The city lay in hushed anticipation, the world poised on the brink of a new day. Aurelia traced her fingers over the map before her, her thoughts turning to the baths and the secrets they held. She could almost feel the warmth of the water, hear the echo of voices long past, their laughter and whispers resonating through time. The baths were a living entity, a repository of memories that pulsed with the life force of those who had come before. And with each passing moment, she and Lucius drew closer to the heart of the mystery, guided by the spirits who watched over them. The past was a tapestry of light and shadow, a dance of history and myth that beckoned them ever onward. The first light of dawn crept over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of rose and gold. Aurelia and Lucius stood at the window, watching as the city awoke to the new day. The air was crisp with promise, the world a canvas waiting to be filled with the stories they would uncover. With a shared glance, they knew their journey was far from over. The secrets of the ancient Roman baths awaited them, their truths hidden beneath layers of time and silence. But together, they would unravel the mysteries, guided by the whispers of the past and the light of the future. For the spirits of the baths were with them, their presence a comforting reminder of the connection that bound them to those who had gone before. And as the sun rose over the city, Aurelia felt a sense of peace, a certainty that they were on the right path. The past was alive, and it called to them, beckoning them onward into the heart of its mysteries. And with Lucius by her side, Aurelia knew they would succeed. Together, they would bring the secrets of the ancient Roman baths into the light, where they could be celebrated and understood anew. Aurelia and Lucius stepped out into the morning light, the cobbled streets of Rome singing with the melody of a city awakening. Vendors began to set up their stalls, the scent of freshly baked bread mingling with the sharp tang of citrus. The world seemed to breathe, each exhalation a promise of discovery, as if the city itself whispered encouragement to the two seekers who dared to tread the paths of the past. Their footsteps echoed softly as they made their way towards the ancient baths, their minds a tapestry woven with questions and fragments of history. The sun cast long shadows that danced along the streets, playing hide and seek with the light, as if the city itself was a guardian of its secrets, revealing only what it chose to those determined enough to seek. The baths of Caracalla loomed ahead, a majestic testament to the grandeur of a civilization that thrived centuries ago. Walls that once echoed with the laughter and conversations of Rome's citizens stood silent now, their stone faces pockmarked with age yet resilient against the sands of time. The air was thick with an unspoken promise, a weight of history that pressed gently upon them as they crossed the threshold into the past. Inside, the grandeur of the baths revealed itself in layers, each archway and mosaic a story carved into stone and tile. They wandered through the vast complex, their fingers brushing against the cool marble, their eyes tracing the intricate designs that seemed to shift and change in the dim light. Here, the past was not a distant memory but a living entity, breathing through the cracks and crevices, whispering its tales to those who dared to listen. Aurelia paused before a wall adorned with faded frescoes, the colors muted yet still vibrant enough to stir the imagination. Her fingers traced the outlines of figures immortalized in paint, their stories hidden beneath the layers of dust and time. She imagined them as they once were, senators and merchants, mothers and children, all seeking solace and rejuvenation within these hallowed halls. Lucius joined her, his gaze thoughtful as he studied the expressions captured in the frescoes. "Do you ever wonder what they were thinking?" he mused, his voice a soft echo in the vast hall. "What stories they carried, what burdens they wished to wash away in these waters?" Aurelia nodded, her thoughts a kaleidoscope of possibilities. "I think they must have felt the same pull we do, a desire to connect with something greater, to find meaning in the rituals of their daily lives." She turned to him, her eyes bright with the shared understanding that bound them. "It's why we continue to seek, isn't it? To find our place within the tapestry of time?" Together, they moved deeper into the baths, their footsteps a gentle rhythm that harmonized with the distant whispers of the past. The air grew cooler, the light dimmer, as they entered the caldarium, the heart of the ancient complex. Here, the atmosphere was thick with the ghosts of steam and laughter, the echoes of 1,000 conversations held within its walls. It was here that Aurelia felt the first stirrings of something more, a presence, intangible yet undeniable, that seemed to watch and wait. The air shimmered with anticipation, a subtle tension that hummed beneath the surface, as if the very stones held their breath, waiting for the right moment to release their secrets. Lucius sensed it too, his eyes scanning the room with a keenness born of shared experience. "Do you feel that?" he asked, his voice a murmur beneath the vaulted ceiling. Aurelia nodded, her heart quickening with the thrill of discovery. "It's as if the past is reaching out to us, trying to show us something." They moved as one, drawn towards a shadowed alcove that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. The mosaic beneath their feet depicted a scene of myth and legend, the story of Icarus, his wings glistening with the promise of flight, poised on the brink of glory and tragedy. Aurelia knelt to examine the tiles, her fingers tracing the contours of the hero's wings. "There's something here," she whispered, her breath a soft caress against the ancient stones. Lucius joined her, his gaze intent as he studied the mosaic. "It's almost as if..." He paused, his eyes narrowing as he caught sight of something half buried in the shadow, a flicker of light, a glint of something hidden. Together, they worked to uncover the hidden secret, their fingers deft and sure as they pried loose a loose tile, revealing a small cavity beneath. Within, a scroll lay nestled, its parchment aged and fragile yet miraculously preserved by the embrace of stone and time. Aurelia's breath caught in her throat, her heart a wild drumbeat against her ribs. "Lucius," she breathed, her voice a reverent whisper. "Look." He took the scroll with the care one might afford a precious artifact, his fingers trembling with the weight of history they held. The parchment unfurled with a delicate crackle, the ink faded yet still legible, a testament to the skill of its scribe and the enduring power of the words captured within. By the light of the past and present, they read the words etched upon the scroll, their minds weaving the threads of story and legend into a tapestry of understanding. It spoke of rituals long forgotten, of ceremonies held beneath the stars, where the waters of the baths served as a conduit between the mortal and the divine. Aurelia's eyes widened with the realization that they had stumbled upon something extraordinary, a glimpse into the spiritual life of those who had once walked these halls. The baths were not merely a place of cleansing and community, but a sacred space where the boundaries between worlds blurred, where the living and the departed could commune in harmony. Lucius met her gaze, his eyes alight with the same wonder that filled her own. "This changes everything," he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. The baths were a bridge, a place where the past and present could meet, where the stories of the ancients could be heard and honored. The weight of their discovery settled upon them, a mantle of responsibility they wore with pride and reverence. They had uncovered a truth that transcended time, a connection that bound them to those who had come before and those yet to follow. As they emerged into the light of day, the scrolls safely tucked away, the city seemed to embrace them with a newfound warmth. The sun shone brighter, the air hummed with possibility, and the world felt a little more alive, as if their discovery had breathed new life into the very stones beneath their feet. Together, Aurelia and Lucius walked hand in hand, their hearts filled with the promise of all that lay ahead. The secrets of the ancient Roman baths had been revealed, their truths a gift to be cherished and shared. And as they gazed upon the city that had borne witness to their journey, they knew they were not alone. For the spirits of the baths walked with them, their whispers a gentle reminder of the past that lived within the present, guiding them onward towards the mysteries that still awaited, hidden beneath the layers of time and silence. The city of Aquae Sulis, with its cobbled streets and ancient colonnades, seemed to exhale a sigh of relief as Aurelia and Lucius made their way towards the forum. The sun, now a golden orb hanging low in the sky, cast long shadows that stretched across the bustling marketplace, where merchants and townsfolk mingled in the late afternoon glow. The air was thick with the scent of spices, mingling with the earthy aroma of baked bread and fresh produce, creating a sensory tapestry that enveloped the pair as they navigated through the vibrant crowd. As they walked, the scroll hidden securely within Lucius's satchel, they exchanged glances filled with unspoken understanding. Their discovery had forged a bond not only between themselves but also with the ancient souls whose secrets they had uncovered. Each step felt purposeful, as if guided by an invisible hand, leading them towards a destiny intertwined with the past. "Do you think others will understand what we've found?" Aurelia asked, her voice barely a whisper above the murmur of the crowd. Lucius paused, his gaze distant as he considered her question. "Perhaps not all," he replied thoughtfully. "But those who seek knowledge, those who are attuned to the whispers of history, will feel its significance." They continued their walk, passing beneath the marble archway that marked the entrance to the forum. Here, the city's heart beat with the rhythm of commerce and conversation, the echo of footsteps on stone a constant reminder of the thousands who had traversed these paths before them. Statues of emperors and deities watched over the scene with impassive eyes, their features softened by the passage of time. As they wandered, a small troupe of musicians began to play, their instruments weaving a melody that danced on the breeze. The music was lively yet tinged with an ancient melancholy, as if echoing the tales of triumph and tragedy that had unfolded in this very place. Aurelia and Lucius paused to listen, their souls stirred by the music's haunting beauty. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose, a perfect backdrop to the vibrant tableau of life before them. With the day's end drawing near, they found themselves gravitating towards a secluded garden nestled between two grand villas. It was a place of tranquility, where time seemed to slow and the world outside faded into a gentle hum. They settled onto a stone bench, surrounded by a symphony of rustling leaves and the soft trickle of a nearby fountain. The garden was alive with the scent of jasmine and lavender, their fragrances mingling in a delicate dance that soothed their senses. Aurelia leaned back, her eyes closing as she allowed the day's events to wash over her. "It's hard to believe," she murmured, "that so much history lies beneath our feet, waiting to be discovered." Lucius nodded, his gaze fixed on the fountain's shimmering surface. "The past is never truly gone," he mused. "It lingers in the air, in the stones, in the water. We are but the latest chapter in a story that has been unfolding for centuries." As the last rays of sunlight faded, the garden was bathed in the gentle glow of twilight. The world seemed to pause, suspended in a moment of perfect stillness, as if holding its breath in anticipation of the night to come. And then, from the shadows, a figure emerged. It was a woman, her presence both ethereal and commanding. Her eyes, dark and knowing, met theirs with a gaze that seemed to pierce the veil of time itself. "Do not be afraid," she said, her voice a melodic whisper that carried the weight of ages. "I am Livia, guardian of the secrets you seek." Aurelia and Lucius exchanged a startled glance, their hearts quickening with a mix of fear and intrigue. There was something otherworldly about Livia, an aura that suggested she was more than just flesh and blood. "You have awakened the spirits of the past," Livia continued, her gaze unwavering. "They walk with you now, guiding your steps and watching over your journey. But beware, for there are those who would seek to silence their voices." Lucius felt a chill run down his spine, the weight of her words settling heavily upon him. "What must we do?" he asked, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "Listen," Livia replied simply. "Listen to the whispers of the baths, to the stories etched into the very fabric of this city. And when the time comes, share what you have learned. Knowledge is a light that must be passed on, lest it be lost to darkness." With that, she turned and vanished into the shadows, leaving Aurelia and Lucius alone with their thoughts. Silence stretched between them, heavy with the implications of their encounter. "Do you think we can trust her?" Aurelia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Lucius considered the question, his mind racing with possibilities. "I believe we must," he said at last. "For if we are to honor the past, we must heed its messengers, even when their presence defies explanation." The garden seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, as if acknowledging the weight of their decision. The night settled around them, a velvet cloak studded with stars, and the world felt both familiar and strange, as if viewed through the lens of a dream. Together, they rose and made their way back through the city, their path illuminated by the soft glow of moonlight. The streets were quieter now, the bustling energy of the day replaced by the gentle murmur of evening. As they walked, they spoke of the future, of the mysteries yet to uncover and the truths they had already unearthed. Their footsteps echoed in the stillness, each step a testament to their resolve, to the journey they had embarked upon and the discoveries that awaited them. In the distance, the ancient baths loomed, their silhouette a reminder of all that had transpired and all that was yet to come. And as Aurelia and Lucius gazed upon their timeless majesty, they knew that their story was far from over. The secrets of the baths were theirs to guard and to share, a legacy passed down through the ages, a thread woven into the tapestry of time. And though the path ahead was shrouded in mystery, they faced it with courage and hope, their hearts guided by the whispers of the past and the promise of all that lay beyond. The night enveloped Aurelia and Lucius in a tender embrace as they continued their journey through the hushed streets of the ancient city. The air was cool, carrying with it the faint scent of cypress and the distant echo of a lone owl's call. With each step, the cobblestones beneath them seemed to hum with the memories of countless feet that had trodden them before, whispering secrets of the past into the quietude of the evening. As they approached the baths, their outlines became more distinct against the starry sky, the grand arches and columns standing as solemn sentinels of history. The moonlight played upon the surface of the ancient stones, casting shadows that danced like ethereal spirits across the ground, weaving tales of forgotten glories and hidden truths. The entrance to the baths beckoned them, a portal to another world, one where the whispers of history could be heard more clearly, where the echoes of ancient lives lingered in the very air. Aurelia paused for a moment, taking in the grandeur of the scene before her. The baths, once a place of respite and community, now stood as a monument to the passage of time, their silent corridors and empty chambers filled with the weight of centuries. Lucius placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, his touch grounding her in the present, anchoring her amidst the sea of memories that threatened to overwhelm her. Together, they stepped across the threshold, their footsteps reverberating off the marble floors, each sound a note in the symphony of the night. Inside, the air was cooler, tinged with the earthy aroma of damp stone and the faintest hint of sulfur from the dormant springs. The flickering light from their torches cast long shadows along the walls, illuminating faded frescoes and intricate mosaics that told stories of gods and heroes, of myth and reality intertwined. As they ventured deeper into the baths, the sense of mystery grew, an almost palpable presence that seemed to watch them from the shadows. The corridors twisted and turned, leading them through a labyrinth of chambers, each one echoing with the ghostly laughter of those who had once reveled there. In the tepidarium, the warmth of the past still lingered in the air, a memory of the gentle heat that had once enveloped the bathers in its soothing embrace. The walls were adorned with depictions of Bacchus and Venus, their divine images gazing down upon this realm of relaxation and indulgence. Aurelia ran her fingers along the cool surface of a marble bench, imagining the conversations and confidences that had been shared here, the alliances and intrigues that had unfolded under the guise of leisure. Lucius was drawn to a particular corner of the room, where the mosaic on the floor seemed more vibrant, its colors preserved by some ancient magic. He knelt down, tracing the outline of a dolphin, its form captured in mid-leap, a symbol of joy and freedom. "Do you think they knew?" he asked, his voice barely more than a whisper, as if speaking too loudly might shatter the delicate balance of the past and present. Aurelia joined him, her eyes following the sinuous lines of the artwork. "Some must have," she replied, her voice equally soft. "But how much they understood, that is the question." These baths were more than just water and stone. They were a sanctuary, a place where the veil between worlds was thin. Together, they moved on, the suspense of their exploration heightened by the knowledge that they were treading on ground steeped in secrets. In the caldarium, the air was thick with the vestiges of steam, the domed ceiling arching above them like the heavens themselves. Here, the heat had once been intense, the very air shimmering with it, a crucible of purification and renewal. Aurelia's gaze was drawn to a series of inscriptions carved into the stone, their meaning obscured by time. She traced the letters with her fingers, feeling the grooves and ridges, trying to decipher the message left by some long-gone hand. "This speaks of a ritual," she murmured, her brow furrowing in concentration. "A cleansing of the soul, a journey into the depths of oneself." Lucius nodded, his eyes scanning the room as if expecting the shades of the past to appear at any moment. "And perhaps more," he added, his voice tinged with awe. "A connection to something beyond, a communion with the divine through the elements of earth and water." The air seemed to pulse with the energy of their discovery, the weight of history pressing down upon them, urging them to uncover more, to delve deeper into the mysteries that lay hidden beneath the surface. Their journey led them to the frigidarium, where the chill was sharp and invigorating, a stark contrast to the warmth they had left behind. Here, the water had been ice cold, a final shock to the system, sealing the transformation begun in the heat of the caldarium. The pool lay empty now, its surface smooth and still, reflecting the light of their torches like a mirror. Aurelia leaned over the edge, peering into the depths, where her own reflection stared back at her, mingled with the shadows of the past. It was here, she realized, that the final step of the ritual had taken place, the baptismal plunge that symbolized rebirth and renewal. As they stood there, the silence was broken by a faint sound, a soft rustling that seemed to come from the very walls themselves. It was a whisper, a breath of the past, carrying with it the echoes of ancient voices, the susurrus of water, the murmur of secrets long buried. Lucius turned to her, his eyes wide with wonder. "Do you hear it?" he asked, his voice barely above a breath. Aurelia nodded, her heart pounding in her chest, the thrill of discovery mingling with a sense of reverence. "It's as if the baths themselves are speaking to us," she replied, her voice tinged with awe. "As if they are revealing their secrets, one by one." The sound swelled, growing louder, a symphony of history that filled the air around them, wrapping them in a tapestry of time. It was a music that transcended the ages, a melody of moments and memories, a testament to the lives that had passed through these halls, leaving their mark upon the world. In that moment, Aurelia and Lucius realized that they were not alone, that the spirits of the past were with them, guiding them on their journey, urging them to uncover the truths that lay hidden in the shadows. And as they stood there, bathed in the glow of ancient secrets, they knew that their story was only just beginning, that the path ahead was filled with wonders yet to be discovered, mysteries yet to be unraveled. With courage in their hearts and the whispers of history in their ears, they turned away from the frigidarium, ready to face whatever lay beyond, to embrace the unknown with open arms and unyielding hope. The corridors of the ancient Roman baths stretched before Aurelia and Lucius like veins of marble and shadow, leading them deeper into the heart of this labyrinthine wonder. The air was thick with the scent of damp stone and echoes of laughter that seemed to linger in the very walls, as if the essence of the past clung to every surface, unwilling to fade into oblivion. Their footsteps were soft whispers against the mosaic floors, each tessera a piece of a grander puzzle, a story told in fragments of color and craftsmanship. Aurelia traced her finger along the cool surface, feeling the groove of each tile, imagining the hands that had meticulously placed them centuries ago. The artistry was a language of its own, speaking of dedication, of beauty born from patience and precision. Lucius, ever attentive, noticed the subtle flicker of torchlight dancing across the walls, casting shadows that seemed alive, shifting and swaying as if performing an ancient ritual. He felt a tingle of anticipation, a sense that these corridors were not merely passageways but conduits of energy, channels through which the past reached out to touch the present. They paused at a junction, where the corridor split into 3 paths, each beckoning with its own promise of discovery. There was a palpable tension in the air, a decision to be made, a choice that would shape the narrative of their journey. Aurelia glanced at Lucius, her eyes shimmering with curiosity and determination. "Which way should we go?" she asked, her voice a gentle caress against the silence. Lucius pondered for a moment, his gaze drifting to the passage on the left, where the faint sound of water echoed, a gentle reminder of the bath's original purpose. "Let us follow the water," he suggested, a smile playing on his lips. "It seems fitting, does it not, to trace the source of life within these walls?" Aurelia nodded, her heart resonating with the idea. Together, they ventured down the left corridor, the sound of flowing water growing stronger with each step, a promise of revelation that pulled them onward. The passage led them to a vast, cavernous room, where a pool lay waiting, its surface shimmering with the reflections of flickering torches. The caldarium, a place of warmth and relaxation, now stood as a silent testament to the opulence of the past. The air was thick with humidity, the warmth wrapping around them like a comforting embrace, urging them to pause, to reflect. Aurelia knelt beside the pool, dipping her fingers into the water, feeling its gentle caress. The warmth seeped into her skin, awakening a sense of connection to the countless souls who had once found solace here. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to drift on the currents of memory, to imagine the whispers of conversations, the laughter, the sighs of contentment that had once filled this space. Lucius watched her, his heart stirred by the sight. He knew that the baths were more than just stone and water. They were a tapestry woven from the threads of human experience, a place where lives intertwined and stories unfolded. He wondered what secrets lay hidden beneath the surface, what truths awaited their discovery. As if in answer to his thoughts, a soft rustling sound caught his attention, drawing his gaze to a shadowed alcove on the far side of the room. Intrigued, he gestured for Aurelia to follow him, and together they approached the alcove, their footsteps echoing softly in the humid air. In the alcove, they found a small, ornate chest, its surface adorned with intricate carvings that told stories of gods and heroes, of battles fought and victories won. The chest seemed out of place, a relic of a time long past, and yet it felt right, as if it belonged here, a guardian of secrets waiting to be unveiled. Aurelia reached out, her fingers brushing the lid, feeling the intricacy of the designs, the craftsmanship that spoke of an artist's devotion. With a gentle push, the lid creaked open, revealing a collection of scrolls, their parchment yellowed with age, yet remarkably preserved. Lucius and Aurelia exchanged a glance, their eyes alight with the thrill of discovery. Carefully, They lifted one of the scrolls, unrolling it with reverence, eager to uncover the words inscribed upon it. The script was elegant, the letters flowing with a grace that transcended time. It was a letter, a missive from one soul to another, a glimpse into a life that had once been. As they read, the words painted a picture of love and longing, of dreams and desires that echoed through the ages. With each scroll they unfurled, a new story emerged, a new voice added to the chorus of history that surrounded them. Some were letters of friendship, others of business transactions, and still others of secret liaisons and whispered promises. Each one was a thread in the tapestry of the Baths, a reminder that this place had been a crossroads of humanity, a place where lives converged and diverged, leaving behind a legacy of connection. As they read, the room seemed to come alive, the spirits of the past drawn to the light of their curiosity. The air hummed with energy, a symphony of whispers that filled the space, urging them to delve deeper, to seek out the truths that lay hidden in the shadows. Aurelia felt a shiver run down her spine, a thrill of anticipation that quickened her heartbeat. She knew that they were on the cusp of something extraordinary, that the secrets of the Baths were within their grasp, waiting to be uncovered. Lucius shared her excitement, his mind racing with possibilities. He felt a sense of purpose, of destiny, as if they had been chosen to carry forward the stories of those who had come before, to ensure that their voices were not lost to the ravages of time. Together, they continued to explore the alcove, their hands brushing against history, their minds alive with the wonder of discovery. They knew that this was only the beginning, that the Baths held countless secrets yet to be revealed, each one a key to understanding the past. As they delved deeper into the mystery, the air around them seemed to pulse with life, the whispers of the ancients growing louder, more insistent. They felt the weight of history upon their shoulders, a burden and a blessing that urged them forward, toward a future illuminated by the light of the past. And so, with hearts full of wonder and minds brimming with questions, Aurelia and Lucius embraced the unknown, ready to uncover the creepy secrets of the ancient Roman Baths, to bring them into the light, and to share their stories with the world. As Aurelia and Lucius ventured further into the heart of the ancient Roman Baths, the air became thick with an eerie silence, punctuated only by the drip of distant water echoing through the stone corridors. The walls around them seemed to hold their breath, as if waiting for the right moment to exhale the secrets they had harbored for millennia. The flickering light of their torches cast long, dancing shadows on the moss-covered walls, turning the space into a living theater of history. Every step they took seemed to lead them deeper into a labyrinth of time, where each corner held the promise of discovery or the whisper of a long-forgotten tale. Aurelia paused for a moment, her fingers brushing against the cool stone, feeling the grooves and indentations left by countless hands over the centuries. "Lucius," she murmured, her voice barely more than a breath, "do you ever wonder who walked these halls before us? What lives they led, what dreams they dreamed?" Lucius nodded, his eyes scanning the intricate mosaics that adorned the walls. Each tile, each fragment of color told a story of its own, a tapestry of human experience woven together in an eternal dance of light and shadow. "I do," he replied, his voice reverent with awe. "It's as if we're walking in the footsteps of ghosts, tracing the outlines of their lives with each step we take." Their journey took them to a grand chamber, its domed ceiling rising high above them, adorned with faded frescoes depicting mythological scenes. The room exuded an aura of forgotten grandeur, a silent testament to the glory of the past. In the center, a large, circular pool lay dormant, its waters still and reflective like a polished mirror. As they stood at the edge of the pool, Aurelia felt a strange sensation, a gentle tug at the edge of her consciousness. It was as if the water itself was alive, a sentient entity that held the memories of the ages within its depths. She leaned closer, peering into the dark waters, and for a fleeting moment, she thought she saw faces staring back at her. Faces of those who had once bathed in these sacred waters, their expressions a mixture of longing and despair. Lucius, sensing her unease, placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "The past is alive here, isn't it?" he said softly, his gaze fixed on the pool. It's as if these baths are a portal to another time, a gateway to the souls who once sought solace within these walls. Aurelia nodded, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and fascination. The air around them seemed to hum with energy, the whispers of the ancients growing louder, more insistent, as if urging them to delve deeper into the mystery. Together, they moved toward a narrow passageway that led away from the chamber, the walls adorned with faded inscriptions in Latin. Aurelia ran her fingers over the carved words, feeling the weight of history in every letter. These were messages from the past, fragments of thoughts and prayers that had been etched into stone by hands long since turned to dust. As they walked, the passage began to slope downward, leading them into the bowels of the baths, where the air grew colder and the darkness more profound. Their torches illuminated only a small circle around them, leaving the rest of the corridor shrouded in shadow. The sound of dripping water grew louder, echoing off the stone walls like a haunting melody. It was a sound that seemed to resonate deep within their bones, a reminder of the relentless passage of time and the inevitable decay of all things. Suddenly, the passage opened up into a vast, underground chamber, its ceiling lost in the shadows above. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and ancient stone, a potent reminder of the world that had existed long before their time. In the center of the chamber stood a massive stone altar, its surface covered in strange symbols and carvings. Aurelia and Lucius approached it with a mix of trepidation and curiosity, their eyes wide with wonder at the sight before them. The altar seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, as if it were a living entity, a conduit between the past and the present. Aurelia could feel its power coursing through her veins, a connection to the ancient world that was both exhilarating and terrifying. "What do you think this was used for?" Aurelia whispered, her voice barely audible in the vastness of the chamber. Lucius studied the carvings, his brow furrowed in concentration. "It's hard to say," he replied, tracing a finger over the intricate designs. "Perhaps it was a place of worship, a sacred site where the ancients communed with their gods. Or maybe it was something more sinister, a place of sacrifice and ritual." A shiver ran down Aurelia's spine at the thought, but she couldn't help but feel drawn to the altar, as if it held the answers to questions she had yet to ask. As they stood before the altar, the whispers of the past grew louder, filling the chamber with a cacophony of voices. It was as if the very stones themselves were speaking, recounting the stories of those who had come before, their triumphs and tragedies etched into the fabric of time. Aurelia closed her eyes, letting the voices wash over her, feeling the weight of history settle upon her shoulders. It was a sensation both humbling and empowering, a reminder of the enduring legacy of those who had once walked these halls. Lucius watched her, his heart swelling with admiration for the woman who stood beside him, her spirit unyielding in the face of the unknown. He knew that together, they were part of something greater, a journey that transcended time and space, a quest to uncover the truth of the ancient world and to share its stories with the world. As they turned to leave the chamber, their minds alight with the possibilities of what lay ahead, they knew that this was only the beginning. The ancient Roman baths held countless secrets yet to be revealed, each one a key to understanding the past and a guide to navigating the future. With hearts full of wonder and minds brimming with questions, Aurelia and Lucius embraced the unknown, ready to uncover the creepy secrets of the ancient Roman baths, to bring them into the light, and to share their stories with the world. Together, they would unravel the mysteries of the past, guided by the whispers of the ancients, and forge a path toward a future illuminated by the light of history. The corridor stretched before them, an undulating path of shadows and flickering torchlight. Each step echoed softly, a rhythmic cadence that seemed to synchronize with the gentle thrum of unseen waters beneath their feet. Aurelia and Lucius walked in silence, their thoughts weaving an intricate tapestry of curiosity and anticipation. The air was thick with the scent of damp stone and ancient incense, a heady mixture that spoke of ages long past. Aurelia's fingers brushed against the cool, rough surface of the walls, tracing the faint carvings that adorned them. The depictions were worn by time, Yet they whispered stories of gods and mortals, of rituals and sacrifices, of life and death intertwined in a dance as old as the earth itself. She could almost hear the chants of priests echoing through the ages, a haunting melody that lingered at the edge of her consciousness. Lucius, ever the scholar, studied each carving with a keen eye, his mind a whirl of possibilities. He marveled at the artistry, the precision with which each figure had been etched into the stone, a testament to the skill and devotion of its creator. Yet, beneath the beauty, there lay an undercurrent of something darker, a reminder that these baths were not merely places of leisure and relaxation, but also sites of mystery and power. As they ventured deeper into the labyrinthine complex, the air grew cooler, the shadows longer. The architecture became more elaborate, with arches soaring overhead and mosaics underfoot depicting scenes of myth and legend. The tiles shimmered in the dim light, their colors muted yet vibrant, a reflection of the world above and the secrets hidden below. Their journey led them to a vast chamber, its ceiling lost to the darkness above. In the center stood a grand pool, its waters still and silent, a mirror reflecting the mysteries that surrounded it. The air was heavy with the scent of mineral-rich steam, a reminder of the healing properties these baths were famed for. Yet, there was an undercurrent of something else, an energy that pulsed beneath the surface, a reminder that this was a place of power, a nexus of the natural and the supernatural. Aurelia knelt beside the pool, her reflection gazing back at her with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of the ages. She dipped her fingers into the water, feeling its warmth seep into her skin, a connection to the countless souls who had come here seeking solace and rejuvenation. The water rippled, distorting her reflection, transforming her visage into that of a stranger, a woman from another time, clad in the robes of a priestess, her eyes alight with knowledge and power. Lucius watched, his heart swelling with admiration for Aurelia, for her courage and her passion, for the way she embraced the unknown with open arms. He knew that together, they were capable of great things, of uncovering truths that had been buried for millennia, of bringing light to the shadows of the past. Their reverie was broken by a sound, faint yet unmistakable, a whisper that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. It was a voice, ancient and resonant, speaking in a tongue long forgotten. The words were unintelligible, yet their meaning was clear, a call to action, a summons to delve deeper into the heart of the mystery. Guided by the voice, Aurelia and Lucius ventured onward, their path lit by the glow of their torches. They traversed narrow passageways and grand halls, each turn revealing new wonders and new enigmas. The baths were a world unto themselves, a microcosm of the Roman Empire, a testament to its glory and its fall. They came upon a chamber unlike any they had seen before, its walls adorned with intricate frescoes depicting scenes of ritual and magic. In the center stood an altar, its surface worn smooth by the hands of countless supplicants. The air was thick with the scent of herbs and spices, a reminder of the offerings that had been made here, the prayers that had been whispered in the darkness. Aurelia approached the altar, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. She could feel the presence of the ancients, their eyes upon her, their voices urging her onward. She placed her hand upon the altar, feeling the cool stone beneath her palm, the energy that pulsed within it. Lucius stood beside her, his gaze fixed upon the frescoes, their vibrant colors telling tales of gods and mortals, of power and sacrifice. He could see the connections, the threads that wove their way through history, binding the past to the present, the living to the dead. Together, they uncovered a hidden compartment within the altar, a secret chamber that held the key to the mysteries of the baths. Inside lay a collection of artifacts, each one a piece of the puzzle, a fragment of the story that had been waiting millennia to be told. Aurelia and Lucius examined each artifact with care, their minds racing with possibilities. There were scrolls, their parchment delicate yet intact, filled with symbols and incantations that spoke of rituals performed in the shadows of the baths. There were amulets and talismans, their surfaces etched with protective spells, a reminder of the power that lay within these walls. As they pieced together the story, They realized that the baths were not merely a place of healing and relaxation, but a site of immense power, a gateway to the divine. The rituals performed here were not merely for the benefit of the body, but for the soul, a means of connecting with the gods, of drawing upon their strength and wisdom. The voice that had guided them spoke once more, its words clearer now, a message from the past to the present, a reminder of the responsibility that lay upon their shoulders. Aurelia and Lucius knew that they had been chosen, that it was their duty to uncover the truth, to bring the stories of the baths into the light, to share them with the world. With hearts full of determination, they gathered the artifacts, their minds alight with the possibilities of what lay ahead. They knew that their journey was far from over, that the baths held countless secrets yet to be revealed. But they were ready to embrace the unknown, to uncover the creepy secrets of the ancient Roman baths, to bring them into the light, and to share their stories with the world. As they turned to leave the chamber, they felt the weight of the ages upon them, the eyes of the ancients watching, guiding them on their path. They knew that together, they were part of something greater, a journey that transcended time and space, a quest to uncover the truth and to illuminate the future with the light of history. The air within the chamber seemed to hum with a life of its own, a soft, persistent whisper that wove itself into the fabric of the stones and echoed in the very marrow of Aurelia and Lucius. They moved with reverent care, aware of each breath, each rustle of their clothing a sacrament in this hallowed space. The walls were lined with mosaics and frescoes, their colors muted yet vibrant, like a dream on the edge of memory, depicting scenes of gods and mortals entwined in dances of myth and history. As they stepped out of the chamber, the atmosphere shifted. The corridor ahead was dimly lit by the flickering of ancient torches, their flames dancing in a silent rhythm, casting shadows that played along the walls like specters of the past. The air was cooler here, carrying with it the scent of damp stone and the faintest trace of sulfur, a reminder of the thermal waters that had once flowed with such vitality. Aurelia and Lucius walked side by side, their footsteps echoing softly, a counterpoint to the distant drip of water that marked the passage of time. Their minds were a tapestry of thoughts and emotions, woven with threads of curiosity, excitement, and a hint of trepidation. They knew that the path ahead was fraught with mystery, that each step brought them closer to the heart of the enigma that was the baths. They paused at an intersection, where the corridor branched into two. To their left, a faint glow suggested the presence of an open space, perhaps a central atrium or a larger chamber. To their right, the darkness deepened, promising the allure of the unknown. They exchanged a glance, a silent conversation passing between them, before they turned towards the darkness, drawn by an unspoken call. The passage narrowed, the walls closing in, ancient stones whispering secrets only they could hear. The air grew dense, charged with an energy that tingled against their skin like static before a storm. Aurelia felt a shiver run down her spine, not of fear, but of anticipation, as if the very stones were urging her forward, urging her to uncover what had been hidden for centuries. Lucius reached out, his fingers brushing against the wall, feeling the rough texture beneath his fingertips, grounding himself in the tangible reality of the world. He could sense the presence of those who had walked here before him, the echo of their footsteps mingling with his own, a silent procession through the corridors of time. Ahead, the passage widened, opening into a cavernous space that took their breath away. The ceiling soared above them, a dome of intricately carved stone that seemed to float on a sea of shadows. Columns lined the perimeter, their surfaces etched with scenes of ancient rites and rituals, a testament to the bath's significance in the lives of those who had come before. In the center of the chamber lay a pool, its waters dark and still, reflecting the flickering light of the torches in a dance of shadow and flame. Aurelia and Lucius approached the edge, peering into the depths, where the water seemed to whisper secrets in a language they could almost understand. It was as if the pool held the memories of the ages, a repository of the lives and dreams of those who had once bathed there. Aurelia knelt beside the pool, her reflection merging with the shadows, her eyes searching for answers beneath the surface. She could feel the pull of the water, a gentle tug at her senses, inviting her to delve deeper, to unravel the mysteries that lay hidden within its depths. "Lucius," she murmured, her voice barely more than a whisper, "do you feel it? The presence, the stories waiting to be told?" Lucius nodded, his gaze fixed on the water. "It's as if the past is alive here, reaching out to us. We must be careful, yet bold enough to listen and understand." Together, they began to explore the chamber, their movements guided by an instinct that seemed to come from beyond themselves. The air was thick with history, each breath a connection to the past, to the lives that had intersected in this sacred space. As they moved, they discovered alcoves carved into the walls, each containing relics of a bygone era, ceramic jars, ornate combs, and fragments of jewelry that gleamed softly in the torchlight. These were the personal effects of those who had once found solace within the baths, echoes of their presence lingering in the objects they had left behind. Each artifact was a story waiting to be told, a piece of the puzzle that was the ancient Roman baths. Aurelia and Lucius knew that these were not mere remnants of the past, but connections to the individuals who had once inhabited this world, their hopes and fears etched into the very fabric of the objects they had treasured. As they continued their exploration, a sense of urgency began to build within them, a realization that the baths were more than just a place of relaxation and rejuvenation. They were a conduit to the divine, a space where the boundaries between the mortal and the immortal blurred, where the sacred and the profane danced in eternal harmony. The chamber seemed to pulse with life, the air alive with the energy of the ages, as if the very stones were imbued with the essence of those who had come before. Aurelia and Lucius could feel the weight of history pressing upon them, a reminder of the responsibility they carried, the duty to uncover the truth and bring it into the light. Their journey was far from over, and they knew that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges and discoveries. Yet, they also knew that they were not alone, that the spirits of the past were with them, guiding them on their quest to unlock the secrets of the ancient Roman baths. With renewed determination, they turned to leave the chamber, their hearts full of the stories they had uncovered and those yet to be revealed. As they stepped back into the corridor, the air seemed to shimmer around them, a promise of the adventures that lay ahead, the mysteries that awaited their discovery, and the light they would bring to the shadows of history. As they emerged from the chamber, the heavy stone door whispered shut behind them, sealing in the echoes of ancient voices that had once filled its hollow spaces. The corridor stretched before them, a tunnel into the unknown, yet Aurelia and Lucius felt a profound sense of clarity and purpose. The torchlight flickered, casting playful shadows that danced on the walls, as if bidding them farewell and urging them onward. The path ahead was lined with secrets buried beneath layers of time, each one a thread in the vast tapestry of history they were destined to unravel. As they walked, the sound of their footsteps seemed to blend with the distant murmur of water from the baths, a reminder of the ever-flowing passage of time and the continuity of life. Aurelia glanced at Lucius, her eyes reflecting the quiet strength and courage that had brought them this far. "We have only just begun to scratch the surface," she said softly, her voice carrying a note of awe and anticipation. Lucius nodded, his gaze steady and resolute. "Together, we will illuminate the past and weave it into the present," he replied, feeling the weight of their shared mission settle comfortably upon his shoulders. As they ascended the worn stone steps leading them out of the subterranean depths, the light of the setting sun greeted them at the entrance, painting the world in hues of gold and amber. It was as if the heavens themselves were celebrating their resolve, casting a warm glow upon their path. Standing at the threshold, they paused, taking in the vast expanse of the sky above, a canvas of endless possibilities. They knew that the journey would take them far beyond the ruins of the baths, into realms of discovery and understanding that would bridge the chasm between past and present. And so, with hearts intertwined by a shared vision, Aurelia and Lucius stepped forward into the embrace of the evening air, leaving behind the whispers of antiquity, yet carrying them always in their souls. The world awaited, vast and mysterious, and as they ventured forth, hand in hand, they were ready to face whatever lay ahead, armed with the wisdom of those who had come before and the promise of those yet to come. In that moment, beneath the deepening sky, they knew they were part of something greater, a legacy of light that would shine through the ages. Their steps echoed softly against the cobblestones, a gentle rhythm that matched the symphony of a world settling into twilight. The air was rich with the scent of earth and promise, a reminder of life's perpetual cycle of renewal. As the stars began to punctuate the deepening indigo of the sky, each one seemed to twinkle with a secret, a story yet to be told. Aurelia glanced at Lucius, her eyes reflecting the starlight as much as her own inner glow. "Do you think they can see us?" she asked, her voice a blend of wonder and reverence. Lucius smiled, a soft curve that spoke of confidence and dreams. "Perhaps they can," he replied, "or perhaps they're simply guiding us, like beacons in the night." They walked on, their path illuminated not just by the celestial bodies above, but by the light they carried within, a flame kindled by their journey and sustained by their hope. Each step was a testament to courage, each breath a vow to cherish the heritage they had unearthed. As they ventured into the heart of the night, the city around them slowly came alive with its own nocturnal rhythms. The distant murmur of voices, the rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze, the occasional laughter that floated through the air, all these sounds wove together to create a melody of life, vibrant and unyielding. And so, with the world stretching out before them like an open book, Aurelia and Lucius found solace in the knowledge that they were not merely spectators of history, but its keepers and its future. The ruins may have been left behind, but the essence of what they represented, unity, wisdom, and the endless pursuit of understanding, remained steadfast within them. Hand in hand, they continued their journey, their silhouettes merging with the shadows, their spirits alight with the promise of dawn. And as the first blush of morning began to chase away the night, they realized that they were not just walking toward a new day, but toward the boundless horizon of possibility. In the end, it was not about reaching a destination, but about embracing the journey itself, a journey that would echo through time, carried by the winds of eternity. And so, they walked on, together, into the ever-unfolding tapestry of the universe, leaving behind a legacy as enduring as the stars. As they moved forward, the whispers of the ancient stones seemed to blend with the gentle rustle of the leaves, creating a symphony that echoed the rhythm of their hearts. The path ahead, though uncertain, shimmered with the golden hues of the rising sun, casting a warm glow that embraced them like an old friend. Aurelia glanced at Lucius, her eyes reflecting the myriad colors of the dawn. In that moment, words were unnecessary. Their shared silence spoke volumes, a silent vow to protect the treasures of the past while nurturing the seeds of the future. They understood that every step they took was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a tribute to those who had walked before them, and a promise to those who would follow. The world around them was alive with possibilities, each breath of wind a reminder of the transient beauty of life. They knew that challenges lay ahead, but with each other by their side, there was nothing they couldn't face. Their laughter mingled with the birdsong, a melody of hope that soared into the vast sky, joining the chorus of dreams that danced upon the horizon. As they continued their journey, the landscape unfolded like a painting, each brushstroke a reminder of the beauty found in both the known and the undiscovered. The road stretched infinitely, a symbol of the boundless potential that lay within their grasp. And so, with hearts full of courage and minds open to the mysteries of the world, Aurelia and Lucius embraced the horizon, stepping boldly into the future. In the quiet moments that followed, as the world awakened around them, they realized that their journey was not just a part of the story, it was the story. A story of love, of discovery, and of an unending quest for truth. And as they walked hand in hand, they understood that they had become one with the eternal dance of the cosmos, a part of something greater than themselves. Thus, in the gentle embrace of the morning light, their journey continued, a testament to the enduring power of hope and the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. And so, they walked on, together, into the ever-unfolding tapestry of the universe, leaving enduring as the stars.